Burton-on-Trent, in the very heart of the country, is the beginning of our story. Burton-on-Trent. The very name means British beer. The first Burton beer was brewed at the abbey founded by Wulfric Spot, the Earl of Mercia, nearly 100 years before the Norman invasion. Today, little remains to be seen on the historic site, but the heritage of good beer has become Burton's own. It was in Burton that the first British brewery was established by Benjamin Wilson in 1708, the year of Marlborough's victory at Oudenarde. Previously, brewing had been carried on mainly in the inns, the monasteries, and the homes of the people themselves. From so small a beginning has grown a great group of companies, the biggest brewing enterprise in the world. Mergers, trading agreements, and associations have spread the Ind-Coop influence throughout the whole country and to many lands overseas. And this is how it began, with Mr. Alsop in Burton. Mr. Ind starts brewing at Romford. He then opens in Burton. By World War I, both companies had extended their influence. By 1932, the companies had expanded further, and a new brewery had been acquired at Aloha in Scotland. By 1936, still more combined progress. In 1949, another brewery at Wrexham. Since the war, a succession of mergers brought such companies as Parker's of Burslem, Benskins and Taylor Walker into the Ind-Coop group. Today, the premium beers are sold all over the British Isles. It was while this film was being made that the biggest merger of all with Tetley Walker and Ansell's was successfully completed to create a great commonwealth of brewers. But this is a film about Ind-Coop, and it was in Burton where it all began, when Mr. Alsop, the successor to Wilson, found himself with Mr. Ind, the brewer from Romford, as a next-door neighbour. The two breweries were so close that when they joined forces nearly 100 years later, only the dividing wall had to be scrapped to make the merger complete. Today, the Ind-Coop Group operate brewing centres as far spread as Kent in the south, Aloha in Scotland, and Wrexham in North Wales. In Kent, the little town of Westerham is made busy by the coming and going of tankers and drays. At Aloha, an old brewery has been completely modernised and rebuilt to become the home of Long Life, Skoll and Export Lager. At Wrexham, another metamorphosis, where again the old gives place to the new, keeping up with present-day trends and increased demand. At Romford, too, the old brewery has been developed extensively to ensure greater efficiency and, at the same time, more production. Today, the Romford Brewery embraces the site of the original enterprise of Mr. Ind, established over 150 years before. Today, these centres are linked by fast modern aircraft. For the Incoop Group is a 20th century concern, with 20th century ideas, maintaining a private airfield at its Burton headquarters. The extent of the group is remarkable. Whereas the Incoop Tetley Ansell Group own some 9,400 licensed properties, Incoop alone own over 5,000 pubs, over 40 hotels, 6 breweries, 10 bottling plants and 42 depots. A technical association with Labatt's of Canada, Swedish Breweries of Stockholm and Lucky Lager of California imparts an international flavour to their name. Incoop also has substantial investments in brewery companies in Kenya, Uganda and in the West Indies. They have recently assumed technical responsibilities for a large brewing group in Spain. The scope of a modern brewery company stretches far beyond the actual brewing of beer. The transport fleet alone comprises well over 800 lorries and more than 500 cars. The architects, and there are over 70 of them, and the production engineers are kept busy designing for future efficiency in production and for your comfort in the pubs and in the hotels. Perhaps this diversity of skill and materials can best be summed up by a glimpse into the general stores at Burton, where the needs of breweries, hotels and pubs are catered for. Never was there such variety. But it all begins and ends with beer. The water which made Burton famous still flows from a fountain in the brewery yard. It's a quiet garden oasis amid the bustle of big lorries, the constant traffic of vehicles bringing the barley for malting. The high and consistent quality of Incoop beer is maintained only by rigid control of materials and processes. Nothing but the best homegrown cereals are used, and the malting is done in the group's own premises. Older methods, while still in use, are being superseded by more modern systems. In the Saladin boxes at Burton, for instance, the natural processes of nature can be controlled exactly. Mechanical rakes turn the grain as it germinates, and the starch becomes the malt sugar, which is the main ingredient of beer. The hops, so necessary for flavouring and preserving, are kept in air-conditioned stores, maintaining them in perfect condition ready for the moment of their use. Every material is tested in the laboratories. At every stage of the brewing process, samples are analysed and tested to make sure that quality standards are maintained throughout the group. 13 fully qualified chemists are hard at work. At Burton, a completely separate brewery in miniature is operated solely for the purpose of testing different materials and new processes, perfecting new types of beer, and improving the quality of the old. In recent years, the 2 original breweries at Burton have been extensively modernized. The tanks in the conditioning rooms contain the equivalent of 4.5 million bottles. Everywhere there is an atmosphere of efficient cleanliness. Behind these quiet scenes are the more mechanical parts of the brewery, where for 24 hours a day, generators and compressors are supplying power, heat and refrigeration for the many processes of making beer. The group believes in encouraging public interest in these processes of brewing, for only by understanding can full enjoyment be achieved. A team of 6 uniformed hostesses conduct over 10,000 people a year through the Burton Brewery and bottling stores, explaining at every stage the intricacies of the work. The open arms where Coop receive their guests is busy all the year round, and scarcely a day passes without its full quota of visitors, wanting to know more about the work and scope of the group and the way that its products are made. This applies at Aloha too, where the brewery is one of the most modern lager-producing units in the world. There has been a brewery on the site since 1810. After the First World War, Allsop's and Graham's lagers were brewed here, and finally in 1953 there began the reconstruction of which the results are so evident today. And after every tour comes hospitality in the Lager Tavern, where the visitors may sample the product which they have seen in the course of making. Skoll is one of the very few genuine lagers produced in this country by continental methods, which differ in several respects from the more traditional form of ale brewing. Today, the Aloha Brewery is a symphony in stainless steel and polished copper. It was completely re-equipped and rebuilt without losing a single brew. Lager-type beers require long conditioning in refrigerated tanks. Today, the storage capacity at Aloha is more than 20 times what it was before. Technically and architecturally, Aloha is undoubtedly Britain's model brewery. A similar process is going on at Wrexham, where the old Lager Company's brewery will soon outstrip even Aloha in production. New walls and steel replace the old. But brewing still goes on. A stream has been diverted, new conditioning tanks installed, and already the brew house has the Coop look, the burnished copper, the clean tiles, and the atmosphere of quiet efficiency. It's interesting to remember that this was the first lager brewery ever to be built in Britain, as long ago as 1882. It was started by a Bohemian, Robert Graysaw, who brought his country's skills and its architecture to Wrexham. Today, the purpose remains, but the conditions are very different. Yes, progress and building are the group's order of the day. At Romford, the new bottling and full case store points the way to its coming look. The graceful roof ensures a maximum of natural light, quick unit construction, and a floor space clear of supporting pillars. A new bottling store had to be built, but production could not be sacrificed. So girders over 183 feet long were used to span the existing bottling store and leave room for the new equipment alongside. But new equipment and modern methods do not in themselves produce good beer. Much more is needed. And the need is supplied by the age-long skill of the brewers and the loyalty of a staff whose health and happiness are of paramount importance to the group. So important are they that £763,000 a year is considered a small price to pay for welfare activities. The Sports and Social Club at Burton provides every amenity for relaxation. Even the TV fans are catered for. And relaxation, need we add, includes enjoying the products of the company amid very pleasant surroundings. The cricket field is well up to county standards, and Derbyshire play there every year. The medical centre at Burton is better equipped and certainly more comfortable than a majority of doctors' consulting rooms. A nursing sister is in attendance all the time, and a doctor visits 3 times a week and is on call for any emergency. At Torquay on the sunny south coast of Devon, a convalescent home provides rest after sickness for a staff and work people whose value and loyalty are fully recognized. Yes, it's the personal element, The arts learned in a lifetime that make the finished product perfect and produce the lace on the glass. A large percentage of the output is bottled, and the Burton bottling store is among the wonders of the brewing world. From the moment the cases of empties have left the drays, they are handled automatically. A case railway operated by one man keeps the units supplied. Number one needs bottles. Right. Turn the points and down they go. Watch. From then on, the units take over. Decrating, sterilizing, filling, capping, pasteurizing, labeling and recrating. It's a continuous process which puzzles the mind with the intricacy of the machinery. The group is the only concern in this country to brew a beer specially for canning. Long Life is not sold in any other container, and its flavor and quality have been contrived to survive its life in a can without alteration to its delicate taste. How do you know a can is full if you can't see? Well, here's the answer. Each one is weighed electronically as it passes. If it's below specification, compressed air removes it from the line. At the end, 2 openers per pack go in, and the box is glued and sealed automatically. The name Ind Coop is more widespread than any other in the brewing industry. The demand for the group's products rises steadily, and more people are demanding their premium beers. But not everybody does drink beer, and one of the most important operations of the group is conducted by Grants of St. James's. From the heart of fashionable London has reached out an organization handling over 800 different wines and spirits from all over the world, the largest importer of wines into this country. In contrast with the clanging bustle of bottling beer, wine must be treated more gently. The range of Regency sherries is justly popular, carrying as it does the hallmark of experience and skill, passed on through generations of wine tasters and blenders. Grants of St. James's have never let the needs of bulk production interfere with the search for quality. Good wine, like a reputation, can be spoiled too easily. And no cask ever leaves the vaults until the time is right, for maturing and storing require the knowledge of the connoisseur. The Victoria Wine Company is a part of this vast group, and its shops are to be found in many parts of the country. The policy of making drinking a pleasant social pastime and the inn a meeting place is one of the guiding principles of the group. They believe that a public house should be what the name implies, a home from home, where the landlord welcomes a customer who drinks lemonade or coffee as much as one who drinks whiskey. A place where good snacks are always available. The process of modernization stretches far beyond the breweries, and licensed premises are being restyled as quickly as possible. Contemporary standards of comfort are being introduced in such a way that the inherent character of the premises is not affected. The old inn remains the old inn, only comfort is added. The in-between buildings receive a facelift in the modern manner. The group owns some 40 hotels, among them some of international standard, like the Learfrick at Coventry. Within its walls, one may drink in any of several restful bars. This is one of the penthouse suites. The Grand at Leicester has been completely redesigned inside. The cocktail bar is a place for comfort, conversation, and pleasant refreshment. Coop's Royal Albion at Brighton is a holiday hotel with a difference, where international standards of comfort and catering may be enjoyed in a Regency building on the site of Dr. Russell's own residence, where the Prince of Wales often stayed. Hotels like the Peacock at Roseley, once a manor house, have been brought up to date without interfering with the historic charms which many inns possess. The new bar is perfection in its restrained design. The fishing in the 2-mile stretch of the Derwent is as good as ever it was. Coop products are on sale countrywide. The premium beers have 60,000 outlets. You may enjoy them in dance halls, theatres, stations, at the races, holiday camps, hotels, and in trains and Pullman cars. And, of course, in pubs through the length and breadth of the country. The group believes that a customer can drink what he likes. And they know, too, human nature being what it is, that means the best.